Hey team, hope you're doing really well. So on today's Mindset Teach, I was going to talk to you about why things tend to be difficult at the weekend. And as I've aptly put, why everything goes to shit at the weekend. Now, when we talk about this, it's really important we understand what we're actually looking to address. So this is not about nutrition. This is not about going off track with your nutrition plan. This is about training and how training can be impacted by the weekend and how quite often things are a little bit different at the weekend. It's really important to acknowledge that weekends are very different for most of us. Yeah, that's changed over the years. More people are working from home. More people are starting businesses. More people are having flexible working, shift working, things like that. So it's not quite as simple as the old everybody works Monday to Friday, 9 till 5, and then they have the weekend off. Yeah, those people are very much still there. Now, those people very much have more structure in their life, and it's very easy to talk about the weekend with those people. However, we all have a weekend. We probably all change our habits around the weekend. Now, I can talk to you about this because this is something that very much affects me. So having children and having a family, there's a lot more pressure to go out and to spend time away from the house. There's a lot more pressure there's a lot more that will pull me away from doing the things that I normally do. We might go out for coffee in the morning as a social. So there are very different things that happen at the weekends. So let's talk about some of the things or some of the instances where actually the weekends are a little bit different for training. Now, what I want you to think about is this. Monday, you woke up and you had this new level of focus for getting yourself in shape, and training is a really big part of that. So what I want you to think about is that you thought to yourself, doing more straight away is going to help me, and to a certain extent it will. So you've done 3 weight training sessions and a yoga class Monday to Friday. You get to the weekend and you're feeling pretty pooped. So the first thing is that routines are going to be very different. So like I've said to you, you've trained Monday through Friday. That's now part of your routine to get into the gym and to go and do that. And when you have a routine like that, you will build momentum. So if you had 5 days where you'd done some form of exercise, then the 6th day is much easier than the first. Routine makes a massive difference. So when you get to the weekend and the routine changes because you've then got more things to do with the family, you've got different food choices, things like that, that can very much break routine. Alcohol and fast food absolutely come into this. Alcohol and fast food make nutrition plans very difficult, which means that achieving a result is challenged by these things. However, from a training perspective, these things will affect you. Alcohol will dehydrate you. Alcohol will affect your mood. It'll affect your energy levels. So in terms of actually training, if we're consuming more alcohol at the weekends, which again, there's nothing wrong with it, but if we're upfront and honest about it, that these things are going to happen, our food choices aren't going to be quite as good, then that will actually affect training. Fast food is very similar to this in that it will affect energy levels. It'll affect the way that you want to eat going forwards. And when you go in and you try and do sessions, let's say you've got a couple of sessions planned at the weekend, it'll affect how hard you can actually work, or even the point of how much you actually want to get up and go. I know if I've ever woken up on with a hangover on a Saturday and I've got an early gym session planned, that gym session then becomes very difficult. So alcohol and fast food are a part of lots of people's weekends. These things will make it more difficult for you to get in and to go and train at the weekend. Hence that it all goes to SHIT. There's a mindset that surrounds training, and there's a mindset that surrounds the weekends. The weekends, I remember I always used to train Monday through to Friday so that I could go and enjoy my weekend. And there was always this, if I try and train really hard, I'm kind of out training the results. When people feel like they deserve their weekends, they stop. We've already spoken about momentum and how powerful that can be. So if you've done 5 sessions, the 6th session can be much easier than the first session was. It's exactly the same. So when you stop, that makes it very difficult to get going again. And this is where the sort of planning for coming into next week comes along, is that very often when people stop and they're like, oh, hit the weekend, they have a few drinks, they have some food that's slightly off plan, they have a late night. That's a kind of a perfect kind of concoction of events that means that you're probably going to go into the next week a little bit tired. So planning the next week can sometimes slip our minds. Also, like I said, I painted that picture in terms of feeling a little bit low, having had some alcohol, late nights, things like that, and having built a bit of momentum around not training. That can actually put us in a position where we're not ready to push when it comes through to Monday. So again, we've had that really, really useful 5 days. We've had that weekend that's potentially been like a little bit more relaxation based. It's great if we can actually hit that button on the Monday, then that's brilliant. However, habits can sometimes mean that we're not ready to do that. So in summary for this one, I completely acknowledge that weekends can sometimes be difficult from a training perspective. However, what I wanted to do is, instead of just highlighting that, I wanted to offer you a little bit of a solution. My biggest solution to this is to be tactical with your rest days and to make sure that you're structuring them in the week as well. An optimal split for you to be able to train well and still get lots out of the weekend is to try and do one day at the weekend where you are training. Now, hear me out on this one. So you would do maybe a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday where you train, have a Thursday off, then a Friday and a Saturday where you train, and then a Sunday off. Now, what that does is it means that you never take more than one day off in a row. It also means that you're then doing something training based at the weekend, which helps create momentum. And when you're only taking that one day off, it's much easier to have one day off and then get back to it, rather than to have, let's say you trained on Friday morning, you train Friday morning, you then have the rest of Friday, you've got Saturday and Sunday where you're not training, and you're probably going to be training on Monday evening. So you've got almost sort of 3 days, almost 4 days where you're not training. That break can make it very difficult. So if you train on a Saturday morning, not only do you get the kind of like invigoration that you get from training and you feel great at the weekend, but it also helps to build that momentum. The other suggestions that I was going to make was that your habits that surround your lifestyle have a really big impact on how that weekend goes down. So sleep is a really big one. And any of the mums and dads on this group that are sat there thinking, my goodness, I wish I had a couple of hours extra sleep, sleep will make a huge difference to your ability to get back to it. Food choices are also really big. And I promised we wouldn't talk about nutrition, but it's a reality that food choices have a big impact on how ready you are to train, how effective you can be, and how easy it is to hit that button and get back to it. Alcohol is the last one. I've had a conversation with 5 of my clients this morning around how difficult Mondays are. And this, I know this is a bank holiday, which is a bit different, but how difficult Mondays are if the weekend has been heavy with alcohol. It puts you on the back foot straight away. So consider having a little look at some habits in and around alcohol. Ultimately, be upfront with yourself. Weekends are an opportunity to rest and recover for sure, but this is where understanding why weekends can sometimes be difficult and making a few small changes. So look at your training patterns, your routines, and the habits that surround your lifestyle, and I'm sure that you'll get those weekends cracked. Guys, thanks very much, and I'll see you on the next one.